Biology Cycle 1, Week 13. I hope you had a great winter break and it's so good to be back. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. We're going to go ahead and start off with our geography. And right here we have Western Africa. We have the Atlantic Ocean, Senegal River, Niger River, Sahara Desert, and the Ivory Coast. Let me show you on our map what we have. We have Western Africa, Atlantic Ocean, we have the Senegal River, which kind of makes a C, in the ancient Mali, and then we have the Niger River curves over the Ivory Coast, kind of like a rainbow over the Ivory Coast. And the Sahara Desert is in green, and it's most of the north. So we're going to sing the Happy Mom song, and we're going to say with our motions. Oh, Western Africa, Atlantic Ocean, the Senegal River, ancient Mali, the Niger River curves over the Ivory Coast, the Sahara Desert, most of the north. Oh, Western Africa, Atlantic Ocean, the Senegal River, ancient Mali, the Niger River curves over the Ivory Coast, the Sahara Desert, most of the north. Let's try it with our map. Oh, Western Africa, Atlantic Ocean, the Senegal River, in ancient Mali, the Niger River curves over the Ivory Coast, the Sahara Desert, most of the north. Oh, Western Africa, Atlantic Ocean, the Senegal River, in ancient Mali, the Niger River curves over the Ivory Coast, Sahara Desert, most of the north. So that was our geography. Let's go ahead and move to our math. Math is here. We're learning liquid equivalents. 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. 2 cups equals 1 pint. 2 pints equals 1 quart. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. And so here I have some containers to show you what those are. The most popular one that we know of is the cup. This is 1 cup. We have here 1 pint. It even says on the container 1 pint. 1 pint. Here, this is 1 quart. 1 quart. And we have 1 ounce. The larger size, this is the 1 ounce. And then here I have a pitcher, and this is 1 gallon. But the most common thing that we know is 1 gallon is milk. And so a gallon of milk is the most popular, and that is what we know as a gallon. So what we've learned is 8 fluid ounces. 8 of these. 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. 8 fluid ounces, 8 times equals 1 cup. 2 cups. 2 cups equals 1 pint. 2 pints equals 1 quart. And 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. All right, so now that we've learned about the measurements, we decided to sing them in a song. And so what we're going to do is I also have a picture here to show you that the liquid equivalents, 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup, 2 cups equals 1 pint, 2 pints equals 1 quart, 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. And so the song, Nathan decided the song, and so we're going to do Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So, no, that is for compound prepositions. For liquid equivalents, we're going to do happy birthday. So here we go. 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. 2 cups equals 1 pint. 2 pints equals 1 quart. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. Let's try that again. 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. 2 cups equals 1 pint. 2 pints equals 1 quart. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. 2 cups equals 1 pint. 2 pints equals 1 quart. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. Let's try that again. 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. 2 cups equals 1 pint. 2 pints equals 1 quart. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. All right, so now that we have our liquid equivalents, let's move on to English compound prepositions. So we've been practicing prepositions, but now we're in compound prepositions. And this is the one Nathan decided, which is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So we have according to you, according to you. In addition to, we're going to make a plus sign, and except for, in front of, don't run in front of the bus, out of, get out of the way, instead of. So those are our motions. So, compound prepositions, according to, in addition to, except for, in front of, out of, instead of, are compound prepositions. Let's try it again. Compound prepositions, according to, in addition to, except for, in front of, out of, instead of, compound prepositions. Let's try it again. Compound prepositions, according to, in addition to, except for, in front of, out of, instead of, are compound prepositions. Very good. That was our English. Let's go ahead and move to history. Tell me about the Kush. So we learned about the Kush, and let me show you. We learned about mining. So the Kush mined gold along the Nile River from 2000 BC to 8350. This is mining gold. The Berbers traded gold, iron, and salt in the desert. Doesn't the word Berbers kind of sound like barter? That's an easy way for you to remember, and bartering is another word for trading. So, let's sing this song. We're going to pretend like we're digging. The Kush mined gold along the Nile River from 2000 BC to 8350. The Berbers traded gold, iron, and salt in the desert. The Kush mined gold along the Nile River from 2000 BC to 8350. The Berbers traded gold, iron, and salt in the desert. Let's try it again. Tell me about the Kush. The Kush mined gold along the Nile River from 2000 BC to 8350. The Berbers traded gold, iron, and salt in the desert. Last time, we will use this one. The Kush mined gold along the Nile River from 2000 BC to 8350. The Berbers traded gold, iron, and salt in the desert. And that was about the Kush. All right, so this next one that we're going to do is, we're going to jump to Latin noun cases. We did Latin noun cases the very first week of Classical Conversations CC Cycle 1. And so we're repeating our Latin noun cases. So let me grab that so you can see. They are actually scrambled. And so the way that we're going to sing it, you'll see a little number 1. Then we come down to 2, accusative. Then 3 is dative. Then we go down to 4, ablative. And then 5, genitive. And so we're going to sing our song, and we're going to do it kind of fast. So here we go. You ready? Latin noun cases, nominative, subject, accusative, direct object, dative, indirect object, ablative, object of preposition, genitive, possessive. Let's try it again, this time faster. Latin noun cases, nominative, subject, accusative, direct object, dative, indirect object, ablative, object of preposition, genitive, possessive. Latin noun cases, nominative, subject, accusative, direct object, dative, indirect object, ablative, object of preposition, genitive, possessive. Let's try it slower. Latin noun cases, nominative, subject, accusative, direct object, dative, indirect object, ablative, object of preposition, genitive, possessive. Let's try it fast. Latin noun cases, nominative, subject, accusative, direct object, dative, indirect object, ablative, object of preposition, genitive, possessive. Very good. That is our Latin noun cases. Let's jump over here to science. We were learning about the geosphere. I have a picture here to show you about the geosphere. Here is the geosphere. We have the core, mantle, and the crust. The core is here inside. There's actually an inner core and an outer core. And then you have the orange part, which is the mantle. And then this tiny little like brown part here is the crust, like a pizza crust. So we are actually going to bite into the crust. Then we have atmosphere. Then we have hydrosphere. Atmosphere is the air, hydrosphere is the water, and the biosphere is life, living things. Okay, so we're going to sing it to the Yellow Submarine. Here we go. What are some parts of the geosphere? Core, mantle, crust, atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere. Those are the parts of the geosphere. The motions that we're going to use for this are these. What are some parts of the geosphere? Core, mantle, crust, the atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere. Those are the parts to the geosphere. What are some parts of the geosphere? Core, mantle, crust, atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere. Those are the parts of the geosphere. What are the parts of a geosphere? Core, mantle, crust, atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere. Those are the parts of the geosphere. What are some parts of the geosphere? Core, mantle, crust, atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere. Those are the parts of the geosphere. You got it. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is our timeline. The timeline I have here with the timeline cards. And the first one is Age of Exploration. Then we have Prince Henry founds the School of Navigation. Slave trade in Africa. Gutenberg's printing press. Songhai in Africa. Sir Ivan the Great of Russia. The Spanish Inquisition. So let's go ahead and start. I'll show you the movements that we're going to use. So we have Age of Exploration, circum 1400 to circum 1600. And then we have Prince Henry founds School of Navigation, slave trade in Africa. Gutenberg's printing press, Songhai in Africa. Surviving the Great of Russia, the Spanish Inquisition. Let's try it again. Age of exploration, circum 1400 to circum 1600. Prince Henry founds the school of navigation, slave trade in Africa. Gutenberg's printing press, sung high in Africa. Surviving the Great of Russia, the Spanish Inquisition. Age of exploration, circum 1400 to circum 1600. Prince Henry founds the school of navigation, slave trade in Africa. Gutenberg's printing press, sung high in Africa. Surviving the Great of Russia, the Spanish Inquisition. And that is our timeline. So that is all of our memory work that we practiced for this week. And then for our presentation time, we did eye contact. We worked on our eye contact. We made eye contact with each member of our audience while we were presenting. And the goal is to get comfortable with looking at each member of the audience. And so that was our presentation. And then the other thing that we worked on was we had for art, we learned about Giotto and how his paintings were made of egg yolks mixed with clay, minerals, berries, or even ground insects to make colored pigments. And we found that some of his beautiful egg tempera paintings were over 700 years old. And it's really amazing to see how we were able to paint and how bright the colors and vivid the colors were and how long lasting they were, but yet they dried really quickly. This is just a little tiny sample of what the color looked like. It was super bright and it was chalk mixed with egg yolk, and then we painted with the paint. And so that was really fun, and that was the egg paint, and we learned about Giotto. And the next thing we did was science. And in science, we learned a couple of things. We had 2 experiments today in science. And the first experiment was we learned about the Earth's tilt. And so we found that the Earth was on an axis. And how perfect the axis is, God made the Earth on this axis to rotate around the sun at a specific angle, and how it was created by purpose and design. It was for specific, and it has reason, and this allows life to develop here on Earth, this specific axis and tilt. It also creates tides, weather, and our temperature. Then we found out that the Earth, with the sun shining here, if the sun was shining like a light here, and we had the Earth, when the Earth rotates around one full time around, that is 1 day. When the Earth rotates around the entire sun, that is 1 year. That's 365 days. And 1 day is 24 hours. So we also found out that when the Earth is rotated on this axle, when we rotate, we found out that what was I going to say? Let's see, it was the night and day, and then the other thing was, I can't remember, but when we go around, the experiment was when we went around the sun, we found out that that's what creates seasons. And so when the Earth is pointed here, you can actually see the light hitting the Earth, and there's the sun, and where we are at, that creates summer. And then as it was coming around, we noticed that that was fall, and then we went to winter, and because it was you could see where it was more of the southern hemisphere that was getting more of the light, and the northern hemisphere was actually less light, and there was like shadow. And then we came back around, and then it was spring, and then when we came back over here, the northern hemisphere had more of the sunlight, and so it was creating more of a summer. And so while this was over here, the southern hemisphere was actually having a summer. And so we also found out that that there were also polar days in the southern hemisphere and also in the northern hemisphere, depending on where it was at, that it would get complete 24-hour period with no sun, and then over here it'd be the opposite. And so that's what we learned about. And then the other thing that we learned about were sinkers. And with sinkers, we found out that how the experiment was going to see how to get to the bottom of mining. We learned how soil settles and how minerals were distributed. And we found out we had a glass jar, and we put dirt inside, and then we had minerals, paper clips, and we dropped them inside, and then we added some water, and we found out that the paper clips ended up soaking to the bottom, and the water ended up there was like dirt, and then there were deposits on top, and the water was in the middle, and so it created different layers. And so that's what we learned about. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is our schedule has kind of changed a little bit. We'll have 9 a.m. assembly and presentation and prayer and our pledges and our family presentation and the scripture song. And then at 9:30 we'll begin our foundations class, and we start with our prayer boxes and our blessing jars and the All About Me books. And then at 9:40 we'll have our new grammar, which is everything we did here, and we'll also have our geography maps time. And then at 10:10 is when we'll have art time, and that will be in the hallway. And at 10:40 will be our presentations and snack, and then at 11 o'clock is our science, and then 11:30 will be our review, and then lunch is at noon. So I'll see y'all next week, and have a blessed week, and I'll see you later. Bye!